Jalen Green took a private jet from Houston into New York for draft night. Jalen Green, who also is the most uniquely dressed prospect in this draft, and he's going to take a private jet back to Houston upon getting selected.
Yeah. So anyone that hasn't seen the suit, it's unbelievable, right? It looks like it's diamond pinstripes. He's got the hair flowing. He's wearing bell bottoms. It's one of the most unique outfits I think I've ever seen when it comes to this NBA draft stuff. I think in terms of his game, he is as explosive as anybody that we've seen come into the NBA in a long time. I think he's probably the best scorer in this draft, in my mind, Fanta. I watched every game that he played with the G League Ignite, and it was very clear to me that as a 19-year-old, the things that he was able to do against grown men, against former All-Americans that are fighting for that last NBA contract, it was special. Right. So I think that there's a very real chance that he could be a guy that ends up averaging 25 points a game in the NBA. I really do think that he can get there. Now, my big thing with him is what happens with everybody else or everything else in his game, right? What happens with everything else? What happens with the passing? What happens with the playmaking? What happens with his ability to defend? Because those are the two big things. Can he be a guy that makes those reads and finds that cross corner pass, right? Can he be a guy that is actually going to be able to defend? Like, as athletic as he is, he was a terrible defender. Like, he got the highlights because he would just wait and try to jump and seal a pass. And when he did that, he was able to come down and throw down a windmill. But when he wasn't able to get that steal, he's just gambling and missing on those plays. So that was a big concern to me.
As Jalen Green goes ahead of Jalen Suggs, presumably we think number 4 on this draft board tonight with Toronto. Let's look at Jalen versus Jalen here, because you are talking about a fascinating case study. This is literally why the NBA installed G League Ignite, was to say, okay, what's going to happen for the one-and-done college player who reaches the highest of heights? Jalen Suggs did that. He reached the national championship game. He's the reason why the Zags got that far with that amazing game-winning shot, versus the G League Ignite route, where Jalen Green plays against grown men, averages nearly 18 points per game. There's no question that Jalen Green is the most explosive athlete in this class and that his scoring prowess is the best in this class. The questions I have are, what will Jalen Green be like as a defender in the NBA? Because in the G League, I didn't see much defense. And what will we see from him as a playmaker for others? Because there's a larger amount of sample size. And Jalen Suggs has shown us that he could create for others. I think Jalen Suggs has not panned out. I don't think Jalen Green has fully either. I think they're both very talented. I think they both were doing things this past year they didn't even realize at times what exactly they were doing. They just knew they had the athleticism to do those things. And that's what's going to be really intriguing. It's Green scoring versus Suggs' well-rounded playmaking ability, in which, Rob, I think we talked about this. There were times where Jalen Suggs was going down the floor, and he legitimately knew he was about to do something, but I don't even think he knows just how good he could be. As we do have the number 2 pick in, and the number 2 pick is Jalen Green, going to a Rockets team that needs everything. I mean, Houston, think about the whirlwind. If you're a Houston Rockets fan, what have you been through over the last year and a half? I mean, what you went through with James Harden, you got the Russell Westbrook situation. Like, Houston has been through the ringer. They need to restart. Rob, is Jalen Green the right person to initiate this restart with?
Yes and no. You know, at this point, I think that what you have to do with this pick is take the guy that you believe is going to be the best franchise player, the most likely to be a guy that can carry you to win it. When you're the Rockets and you have to pay John Wall $90 million over the next 2 years, like, you just got to take the best available and hope that in 2 or 3 years, everything pans out. Now, for my money, if I was the one making this pick, I'd be taking Jalen Suggs, because I put a priority on guys that can be those primary ball handlers, right? That can be those lead guards. I think that Jalen Suggs is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of Drew Holiday or Jamal Murray that actually plays defense, maybe a Chauncey Billups, someone of that caliber. And I think guys like that are proven winners. I think that what you want is the star guards that can play out of ball screens, that can make those passes, that are wired to be able to make their teammates better as well as themselves. And I think that's what Jalen Suggs is. The other part of it is that Jalen Suggs, like, he was Mr. Football in Minnesota, right? He was a guy that has never really played basketball during the offseason until the pandemic hit. He every year in the summer, he was working on RPOs instead of DHOs. And now you get a chance, a kid that athletic, that much of a ball player, right? He is a hooper and a basketball player at the same time, John Fanta. And you're going to tell me now he's focusing on basketball full-time? I don't know how you can say no to that. That kind of elite playmaking lead guard is exactly what you want. And I would take him number 2 overall. So whoever is picking at number 4 right now is probably going to end up getting a steal with one Mr. Jalen Suggs.